Load up and get down. Because I'm a killer, Thor. Take 'em!
Welcome back to another episode of Fish Addictions, the real talk, where we don't just talk fishing, and we're not going to do that today. We're going to talk hunting. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk whatever gets brought up. Thor went behind my back and invited my brother. I'm okay with it. I love him.
I thought about.
Did you hear that? I admitted I loved you.
I love you too.
It's on the record. We have
We have a lot of things to say, and let's just see how this camera works.
so we have it on the record now that Mike loves his kids, his wife, and his brother.
I'm covered then. Mom and Dad, I love you too. My sisters, you're getting there.
All right.
Just kidding.
We're working on it. It's good.
They don't watch us anyway, so we'll see if they comment.
They might.
Yeah, hopefully they do. That means they love me. That means they're supporting what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is just a test to see if they actually comment.
I
love you guys.
I talked to my mom on the way out here, and she asked me a question. I was like, "Oh, well, you would know that if you would have listened to the podcast." She's like, "Well, you know I listen." And I was like, "Well, clearly you don't, because we talked about that during the last podcast, Mom."
I mean, in her defense, I was banging the table. Even my wife was like, I had to turn it down at work because you were like hammering the table and getting upset.
Yeah, my mom hadn't even started it yet.
Oh.
How long was that podcast? Because I saw the 2.5 minute passion rant. How long was that podcast?
75 minutes.
Oh, I haven't heard the whole thing yet.
No.
And it was only about 20 to a half hour of that. We covered 4 other topics on top of that, but
good. Oh, yes.
Well, first, let's start with this. Obviously, we in this room know who you are. Tell us what you do, what your passion is. Just a quick synopsis about who Jonathan Olson is.
All right. So, first of all, I'm Mike's brother, Jonathan Olson. And we actually, Mike and I started Fish Addictions together many years ago, actually. But I actually created Hunt Addictions first. And how that all came about is I was actually into forums at a younger age and learned a lot from forums and was learning how to, learning from people's advice and pictures and videos and whatever. And I got really into it and actually started Hunt Addictions. And Hunt Addictions was also a forum-based website. And, we were able to, talk hunting and do a bunch of stuff and whatnot. And then actually about a year after, Mike was like, well, why don't we do a fishing forum? Like, why not?
Well, I think it actually started, we started the fishing portion of it on Hunt Addictions.
Yep, it started that way. It was the same exact layout of everything. But we took Hunt Addictions users and made Fish Addictions, or started that way, and used a lot of staff and whatever. And it was not a profitable thing. It was more fun at that time.
And to be honest, it was when forums were kind of on their way out.
Yep, that's exactly it. They were definitely on their way out. So anyway, basically, Hunt Addictions was kind of my passion, and I had another buddy, Sean Weisenflew, that did that with me, and we did our thing, and Mike got involved, and then we started Fish Addictions, the 3 of us, actually.
Yeah.
And then after a while, Mike got pretty excited and started doing some different stuff. He kind of wanted, and it was good stuff, but he kind of had a different vision for Fish Addictions. And eventually, I kind of just looked at it, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that. So why don't you take over and you just take it and do your thing? And really, and that's how we actually departed peacefully, I guess I would say. And he just kind of took his own vision, and now he's doing what he's doing with it today. So,
well, it's kind of crazy because you think back to that time, and we started Fish Addictions, really, honestly, in its infancy, was part of Hunt Addictions. There was a separate forum portion on Hunt Addictions for fishing, walleye, all that kind of stuff. And then, we broke it off and started doing stuff. And it was the dying of forums in general. Hunting was still hanging on. Fishing, we did it at the exact wrong time.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. Fishing was dying. I had fun doing it because at that point, you were obsessed with hunting, and I was kind of obsessed with fishing.
Right.
What?
I'm posing for cameras off screen.
Oh.
Well, and Dad's favorite story to tell everybody is that, I was obsessed with fishing and you're obsessed with hunting in high school. I mean, it is legitimately his favorite. And he goes, well, they like flipped. They flipped. Literally, John liked hunting, Mike liked fishing, and that's his favorite story to tell all of his friends or all the people he meets.
Truly what it is we just have a real passion for the outdoors.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, when you think of Jonathan Olson, you think of snow geese and waterfowl. When you think of Mike Olson, you think of fishing, but truly what it is I'm really passionate about hunting in certain aspects. But when you do what we do, you kind of have to concentrate more on one thing than the others, right? And John and I still go fishing every once in a while. I still go down and hunt with John once in a while. We both deer hunt. We both do all this kind of stuff. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is we're focused on one thing, but we're not totally 100% focused on one thing. This is just what we're known for.
Right.
Yeah, we have our major passions, and then we like to do all the outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Well, you have to change it up.
absolutely you do. You can't do it all the time. You're going to get bored of it at that point.
Right. And I mean, you could go out and shoot a 200-inch deer every time you went out and you'd get sick of it.
Well, then you don't want to shoot a 205-inch deer.
Right.
That's the thing is before this even started, we were just talking, when's enough? Mm-hmm. And the problem is we're wired. See, we have this gene that we call the Wagner gene in our family. Mm-hmm. And the Wagner gene means that we're never satisfied. Good or bad, we
It's
just
tough for our
aren't.
wives.
We aren't. We're never satisfied. I mean, what do you do? I mean, that's what's made us successful. And it's a quality that sometimes we both wish we could turn off once in a while, I'm sure. Like I've had points in my life where I'm like, can I just not be obsessed? Like I deer hunted 28 days this year in the month of November and the first week of December.
Yeah. Yeah, we could be on like episode 14 of this podcast if you would have deer hunted less.
Well, we're not, so.
We are not. We are definitely not.
But, that's what... turning it off is not the right word, but the problem is it's like there's a reason why it's called hunt addictions, snow addictions, and fish addictions, because it truly is something that we don't know how to turn off. We just don't know how. When we were at a young age, our grandfather would pick us up, we would leave, we'd be gone for the day, we'd come back, we don't know anything different. We just don't.
Right.
We go out, things happen. For instance, on this last episode, I'm going to give away we're going, flat tire on the trailer, and I'm just like, well, whatever, let's get it figured out. Like our life experiences with hunting, fishing, businesses, that kind of stuff has led us to the point where we can deal with adverse conditions, things that come up, and not let it ruin our day. Some people will have a flat tire in the middle of bumfuck North Dakota, and their day's done.
I'm not blurring that
2 hours. 2 hours later, I was fishing with the guys with a brand new tire and a brand new spare for my trailer.
Right. I don't know if John knows this story, but so I've worked for John and Mike in their landscaping business in the past. And the first year that I was working for them, we went to the landfill and somebody forgot to hook the gate up on our dump trailer. So when we dumped the trailer, it bent the gate up to almost a 90-degree angle. And then we needed to go get gravel, and they wouldn't fill us up with gravel because our gate wouldn't close. And Mike shows up, and a ratchet strap, and 5 minutes later, he has it fixed to the point that they'll fill us up with gravel. And I looked at him, I said, how'd you come up with that? And he goes, well, you sitting here is costing me 10 grand. I'm going to figure something out.
We call that adapting and overcoming.
I mean, that's how we grew up, though. Like, literally, that's how we grew up. If we wanted to do something, we had to make it happen. The guys that have worked for us for years are the same thing. It's like when something happens, like I'm not the guy that's going to come and either is John and we're going to come and we're going to get overly worked up about something. We're going to just figure it out, do it, and make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing. That's the same stuff that we bring to the outdoor parts of our world. If we want to do something, we're going to figure out how to make it happen. It's maybe not the conventional way. It's maybe not the way everybody else does it. But if it gets done, that's the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just real talk, it's life lesson talk as well. It's real talk.
Yeah, I mean,
real talk.
I mean, we talked about it on the last podcast a little bit. If you guys haven't listened to it, go back and do that. But we're talking about like And I know you commented on it. Did you erase that comment, by the way?
Which one? Say it again.
The one on
I
my...
didn't erase that.
Somebody said to John, did you erase John's comment on your Facebook post? I said, no.
You have shared the last episode twice, and he commented on one of them.
How did I share it twice?
I don't know, but you did.
All this Facebook stuff, all this stuff. I'm still computer illiterate. Because I try my best, people.
I even saw it again today where you had shared it again, and I was like, oh, all right.
Okay, well, whatever.
You know?
But anyways, so where was I going with that?
John's comment.
Like, you know, that things, the adversity of the industries that we were in, you know, I don't want to say when you're at the top, but when you're striving to be the best that you can be, wherever that place is, you're always going to have people that hate you. And to go around it, to look past it, we all have our weak moments. And to clarify, that last podcast was not about people that hate me. It was about people that screw with the fishing industry and the way they do.
It was about people that are just dicks.
It wasn't people that hate me.
Right.
Go ahead and hate me. I'm pretty thick-skinned.
You're grown up. You get it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It's to the people. It's to when somebody posts a picture of their kid catching their first fish and they say, "Oh, geez, your kid caught a rock bass. That's really cool." Loser.
Shut up.
Like, those are the people we were talking about.
Right. Yeah. So to clarify, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, "Just look past the haters now."
Yeah, we don't care about our hate.
I hate the haters, and I think they're ruining the sport that I love and I have a passion for. That's what pisses me off.
Right.
That's what pisses me off. If you're going to go out and hunt or fish and you want to share that, that's what these places were made for. That's what these places originated from. The same with Form. You know, that's one reason Forms died, was because of all the people that went on there and tried to take over your Form. People didn't, it wasn't, and maybe this is the wrong way, but it wasn't a safe place. Mm-hmm. Like a happy, safe place. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off there, but whatever. I just think that
Title of the podcast: The
Happy
Olson
Safe Place?
The Olson safe.
There is no safe place.
Actually, I was just talking to Matt on the way over here about that. It's like, I am legitimately the nicest asshole you ever meet. You treat me good, I will treat you better. You treat me bad, I'm going to come for you. That just is what it is. People know that.
I'm a bridge burner. I get it.
And people that know me, they'll say once he gets on the whiskey, it's called the whiskey sermon. And it is what it is. Look out.
I mean, generally, we don't have a problem telling people the way we think. Feelings have been hurt and best friends have been made because of that. So,
But we try to stay positive at all times.
Most of my best friends have come post fist fight.
Oh, interesting.
I've never had a fist fight with you.
No, that's why I said most.
Okay.
It's not an exclusive list.
Have you fist fought over there? What?
Oh yeah.
Look out.
Who won?
It's not a story for today.
I drank less. I won.
Okay. Well,
But it is. It's one of those things where sometimes the raw truth, whether that comes by getting yelled at or you throw some punches, a lot of times getting that problem just solved leads to being really good friends afterwards. So sometimes being brutally honest, we shouldn't promote fighting.
no, whatever.
But
we're men.
Sometimes having a quick little fist fight solves the problem.
Sure, it
Because
can.
you're either going to be
It's up
good
to
friends
you.
or you're never talking again.
Well, I think you go back to what we're talking about, what led to the separation of fish addictions and hunt addictions, and what we're talking about kind of did. My passion was in the fishing part of things. His passion was in the hunting things. And we talk about we want to do things to the best of our ability. I wasn't as passionate about hunting, so I didn't have as much to give to the hunting side of things. He wasn't as passionate about fishing, so he didn't have as much to give to the fishing side of things. It only made sense for it to happen the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no actual separation or reason why there was no fight. It was just, okay, you have a different vision for this. I have a different vision for this. So we're going these ways. And truthfully, both have blossomed in really good ways because of that. So
Yeah. No, I wouldn't change anything the way it's gone down. We've never, ever had hard feelings towards.
But plus,
What
we
to do in
also
that way.
own a business together, a very
Like a few
intense
businesses.
business together, and we do need our separation. And it's not because we don't like each other. I mean, it is what it is. We didn't need to fight about whether or not Fish Addictions or we were going to do the Real Talk podcast one day. Like,
Right.
So we got to have our separation. I mean, it's facts. So
Absolutely.
Well,
just the
it's
way
just
it is.
like anything. I mean, you could go to the most beautiful place on planet Earth with your family. You still want to have some separation from them every now and again.
Yeah.
And if you're working together, hanging out together, having fun together, I mean, it definitely blurs lines.
Nope. Absolutely, it does. So
And one of the reasons that we started the business that we own together was because of our passion for the outdoors. We had that conversation early on, that, hey, I'm kind of doing this because I want to do this kind of stuff eventually. And me, the same thing. Right. So, I mean, we kind of are at that understanding to begin with, And so, I mean, that's how it works.
So to clarify, Mike and I own a landscaping and fencing company in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And I actually started the business, and basically I looked at him and I said, the reason I'm doing this is because it's a seasonal job, and I want to be able to hunt. I want to be able to fish. I want to be able to do stuff. And I'm not going to be tied down to this completely. And actually when Mike started with Greenworks, he had that mentality. He still did a lot of it, but I mean, I would just be like, see ya. And he would still be working. And he would get really mad at me about that at some points. And I finally looked at him and said, I don't give a what you think. Sorry, but I'm doing what I love to do and why I started this business. And if we're not on the same page, whatever. But he's clearly on the same page now. So probably more.
Yeah. I only fished 2 tournaments to clarify last time.
So here's
Thank you, COVID.
No, COVID was, all the tournaments were there.
So I guess here's a question for both of you. The number people always want to hear is, how many days a year are you on the water? How many days a year are you on the field? How many days a year do you take off of work to chase your passions?
I would say,
don't count the fact that you guide and the fact that you run a TV show.
Well, here's the deal.
being work.
Greenworks is probably 7 months out of the year, right? Probably respectively. John does the sales end of Greenworks, so his starts about a month earlier, but ends a month earlier. And mine starts a month later and ends a month later, basically. So we're working about the same amount of months. I would say easily that we're missing 3 to 4 weeks a year. Work weeks, conservatively in that range. And it depends. Every year's different. We have different opportunities.
Right.
We have different things that come up. Obviously, this year with COVID, John usually takes a trip to Canada. That doesn't happen. I usually do a few more things. That didn't happen. That's year to year. It's really hard to say. There's some years we'll miss 6, 7, 10 days. There's some years that we miss more than that. It really depends. We're very opportunistic people. Mm-hmm. So it depends on the opportunities that come. So, I mean, it's hard to answer that.
Right. And for anybody listening, as much as I want that to be a way for us to make fun of them for skipping work, it also goes to show that if you follow your passions and you work hard to do what you're doing, you get to skip work.
I mean, to be super clear and honest, there's never a day we're really taking off.
Right. But there are days that you're having fun more than you're working. And that's a tribute to how hard you guys have worked to get to where you are.
I appreciate your insight, but the real thing is like when you're a business owner, you have to understand, and that never gets turned off. When I'm pre-fishing for a tournament, my phone is on and I answer it unless it's tournament days. Mm-hmm. We have to.
Right.
He's got to answer calls for clients. I've got to answer calls for the employees, or if he's got a question or our sales guy's got a question. As a business owner, we're never gone. We're gone, but we're never gone.
I think you could ignore Brady's calls.
It just doesn't happen.
It can't happen. But I will tell you this. If he does ignore somebody's call, if I call, he always answers because he knows I'm calling for a good reason. That is for sure. Definitely.
Both of us are pretty good about, we go to do our things, but we answer the phone calls.
Right.
I've called John and I can hear the e-caller going in the background. But it's just a quick question. He knows that normally I'm not there to chat for a half hour. It's hey, do you know anything about this? Done, gone.
Oh, you don't ask.
He calls me
breakfast?
Boat. The only reason I don't answer is if I'm hauling across the lake in the boat. I don't hear the phone. But no, I don't think John and I have ever had a conversation. But hey, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? What Jenny cook you?
I think you should start wearing one of those headsets. so you can talk on the phone while you're fighting fish?
No.
Just wear one all the time.
Nope.
Let's just keep it the way it is.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I like that.
But because that's, from a lot of people from the outside looking in, they don't see that the days off aren't days off. And even for me, I obviously have nowhere near the responsibility that you guys do, but I've been working 7-ish days a week. I'm not working anywhere near 8 hours a day, all 7 days a week, but Saturday night.
Hey, we've had this conversation already since you started helping fish addictions and stuff. There was a point early on where you're like, well, I just got to turn it. Nope, you don't get to do that in these positions, right? I mean, that's part of the deal.
Because even Saturday night at midnight, I was having issues with the software that I used to edit the podcast, and I couldn't export it. And I needed that for 6 a.m. on Monday. And so at midnight, I'm troubleshooting, trying to figure out, is my computer dying? Is the software bad? What do I need to do to make it so that this can get out? Because I have Sunday to figure it out now.
I was in fish camp.
I know you were. And one of the few aspects of this job that you can't really help me with is the editing portion of it.
Nope.
But, it is one of those things where people, think, oh, well, it's Saturday night, you're not working, or you're in Arkansas, you're not focused on work, but you are.
Well, that would be one thing. You bring up Arkansas, and actually it was said to me today, they say, oh, so you're going down to Arkansas for 2 months. Like, that sounds fun. You're going to be hunting. I'm like, listen, that is a job. Yes, I enjoy my job. That's why I do it. I mean, It is a choice, but I can tell you right now, the 3:30 to 4 in the mornings, getting up, hunting till 11 noon, eating something quick, getting a 2-hour nap, scouting, talking on the phone, dealing with landowners. It is not.
It's got to be something you're super passionate about.
Right. It's
right.
Speaking of that, that's what a lot of people don't really get. We're pursuing our passions. I've got the TV show and everything we're doing. You've got your guide services. Hunt Addictions is kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of not there anymore, right?
Yeah, no, it's pretty minimal. It's really just an apparel thing at this point. People like the brand. People like to hashtag it on stuff.
First hoodie I bought.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that I hunt with that really like to identify as Hunt Addictions guys or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's not a TV show.
You can come back, by the way.
It's not anything that is. It's not anything. It's not a TV show. It's not a forum. It's a brand, and it's more of like a. I wouldn't say it's a group, but it's just it's a brand. It's a brand that some people want to be a part of. So
all my pheasant hunting clothes are Hunt Addictions branded.
Yeah.
Except for my pants. Come up with a good field pant.
Field pant.
No, man. I need some good field pants. My dog wrecked mine the other day.
I'll get some Sitka pants, and then I'll embroider it with Hunt Addictions. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, perfect. We have that ability.
As long as I can get the friends and family discount.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
No, I have looked into the Sitka upland apparel because it is.
I mean, pretty much everything Sitka makes is pretty sick.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Hashtag sick for it.
That hashtag sick for it. Or actually, I started the hashtag extra sick for it. First one, legit. Go check it out.
I'm not good. I'm definitely not extra sick for it.
Oh God,
I'm a very fair weather pheasant hunting fan. I like getting the dog out, but we're not. If it's a shitty day outside, I'm probably not going pheasant hunting.
I mean, think about that. See how you do what you just said? This guy is hunting 2 months straight. If it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hotter than hell out, if it's
rain or shine, guys.
You got to be sick for it. You have to.
Is messed in the head something we should?
I mean, that's the same thing people say to us. We're standing outside the other day, 2 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour wind. So we're negative 15 standing outside, no shacks. And guy walks up to us and is like, you guys catching any? No, we're actually not catching anything right now. He's like, ooh.
What are you doing?
He's like, you guys have been standing out here for 4 hours. I'm like, yeah. He's like, ooh. He just walks away no effing way am I going to stand outside and fish. Well, the truth of the story is we all wish we had a shack, but we were fishing.
But if you
we just didn't bring it with.
And if you would have set a shack up, you would have gotten complacent.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have hunted for fish.
Right.
So you had asked the question earlier about how many days on the water, how many days are we hunting? So honestly, I easily hunt 120 plus days a year. And, you know, a couple people are like, that is not even possible. Well, it is. I mean, granted, 45 of them are guiding. And I love my clients. I love people. Like, it's fun. 45 days is my maximum that I want to deal with that. But I do hunt with a lot of friends, and I will always forever do that. You know, I have some of my best friends that have come from hunting, and it's because it's like a team effort. You know, I've said this before. I've actually said this on other podcasts that I've done. One thing that I love about hunting and fishing is, you know, it's a team effort, and you really have to work together to succeed, whether that's brushing up blinds or setting the decoys correct, or, you know, scouting. Scouting is huge. You know, it's a big deal. It's a team effort. It's something that you don't get in life.
You don't get that big payback reward without everybody on the same page.
Right.
It's kind of a different thing. Like, you can play baseball, you play basketball, and you got to be on the same page. But like, you can get 10 guys into a blind and have just this crazy shoot, because you still have to have the aspect of those birds are going to work, right? You got to do everything right on your end, and you still need a little bit from the guy upstairs to make it work. You know?
Absolutely.
And especially, you know, when you get that group of people that understands, because even when I was waterfowl hunting in college,
you all got to be sick for it the same. Like, if there's one guy in the group that just, and it happens with fishing as well, like one guy in the group that just isn't feeling it that day, that whole group can feel it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Because when I was in college, I'll be honest, it took me 2 tries because I spent too much time waterfowl hunting and not enough time going to school. That is,
And then you decide to sell all your shit
yeah.
and be done with it.
Well, that's kind of a whole nother story.
We probably don't have time for that.
That was when we put the Toyota Sequoia in a swamp up to the hood.
Yeah.
And I thought I had to
years.
buy a new car. So that's when I sold everything.
I wish we would have got that on video.
Yeah, if that would have happened,
That really was an ordeal.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get to participate.
you would have had fun.
I probably would have.
You still be shaking your head like I am.
I'm sure.
Yeah. when we got Mike's first question when we got there, he looked down the road that I was stuck on and he said, "There's a car down there?
Yeah.
You sure? You sure this is the right road?"
I thought for sure the car had flipped over in the swamp and just buried itself in quicksand, quick mud or whatever.
But
In your defense, we have all done stupid
Oh,
shit. Right?
yeah.
But
There's a picture in the hunting shack of the time John and I drove into a washout out in Devil's Lake.
that was wild. Yeah.
yeah.
It
What, did
happened.
Nathan hang that up or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, he does. It's in our hunting shack.
Yeah, but I bet Nathan thinks that's the wildest thing in the world. Like, that's just another,
I mean,
that's
he
just
likes
another
telling the
mess up.
story, no doubt.
I'm sure.
Was he there for it?
He wasn't there when it happened. He was about 4 miles away sitting
Snow
in the
goose hunting.
goose blind.
We left him as we went.
We left him to go scout, and we never came back. He literally picked up all the. Well, that was one good thing. He picked up all the decoys, put them back in the trailer, and
Wondering why the hell we never.
wondering
came
if
back
we
to
were
get him.
ever coming back to get him because our phones didn't work and nothing. So he had no clue what was
Yeah,
going
bad
on.
deal.
No, he definitely. That's one of the wildest things that's ever happened to him for sure. But it's crazy because I think about that, and like for us, that's just another day. That's just something else that's happened in life of what the hell we've done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like. We could sit here and tell you stories of between grandpa and hunting and shit that has happened over the years that would blow people's minds. But we're not. We shouldn't do that.
If this podcast wants to be 15 hours long,
Yeah.
we're gonna go there, but I don't think we can.
Yeah.
I
At one point, Thor. That's what Thor thought it should be. Is just you and me telling stories about hunting.
So the way that this podcast started was I approached Mike and I said, "Hey, you and John should do a podcast."
Well, before that, John and I had already talked about doing a podcast together.
But so I said, "Hey, you and John should do a podcast." And Mike said, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And then Mike said, "Hey, you and I are going to do a podcast and John's going to be there sometimes."
Yeah.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, I wanted
Yep,
no
yep.
part of sitting next to this microphone.
That's not true.
I wanted to be over
That's
there.
not true. You were all
He's
honored.
famous. Mr. Thor Sko, famous.
I mean,
Skoy.
Skoy?
Skoy.
It's Sko.
I learned that recently too.
It's Sko
Yeah.
and will always be. I have another friend.
And that's
His
okay.
last name is Keenan, and I pronounce it Conan. And everybody I've introduced him to, it's Conan, and it never goes away. Therefore, it's Sko. Love you, buddy, but it's
You know
Sko.
what? You know what? See, and I'll give you the pass on it because weirdly enough, out of the last, so I started working for you on like right before my 21st birthday. I'm now 27.
Ooh, that makes me a really bad employer that I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
No, I literally just got it right the other day.
But here's
too.
the thing. Out of those years, at least 5 of them, you have been the first person to wish me happy birthday. I get a text 3 o'clock in the morning from John, happy birthday. 4 a.m. I'm like, John, why are you waking me
You
up?
should just text him back. Get the Facebook.
I don't have my birthday on Facebook.
No, it's in my phone.
You have it in your phone?
Listen, Linda.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you know what? You go ahead and say my last name however you want.
Brownie points. Perfect.
But anyways, let's get in. So you
You guys covered all my questions.
Yeah, no, but
Well, not
I
all
do
of them,
want to
but
hear
most.
about snow addictions because I think it's pretty cool and talking about that passion. So what is snow addictions and where do you guys go? Because there's kind of 2 facets to it, right? The Canadian part of it and then there's the Arkansas part of it.
Actually, no. So I own a guide service called Clearview Outfitting in Canada, which is a completely different partnership with different people, different stuff. We won't even get into that.
Nope.
But it's basically you guys want to talk about snow addictions? I'll tell you about snow addictions.
Tell me about snow addictions.
So basically, my buddy Adam Mertz, very good friend of mine, one of my best friends, I was actually coming up and I had snow goose hunted in Arkansas, just freelance hunting, just having fun. Okay, I went down there with just 2 of us. We had a blast. We had great hunting. It was awesome. So I continued to go year after year, and I'd go for a week and a half, 10 days, and do it. And anyway, one year, I went up, and Adam was basically guiding, and he had guided from Craigslist. Okay, now
Back then, that was legit though.
it was legit to a degree, yes. But regardless, so I went there and started hunting with Adam because Adam and I are buddies and we had fun hunting together in South Dakota and whatever. So I went there, we had awesome hunting, just fun hunting, and then the clients came. Well, the clients came and Adam was running one group a day. Sometimes it'd be 4 guys, sometimes it'd be 8, sometimes it'd be 10, sometimes it'd be 3. And so the business person in me, I was like, God dang, and he was doing it because he wanted to make extra money while hunting. That's his deal. So basically, Adam was guiding and making a little extra money, not a lot. His prices were pretty low and he was producing a pretty good product. So anyway, one of the guides in Arkansas actually called Adam and was like, hey, I overbooked. I need you to take this group. And so long story short, he looks at me and he goes, dude, like I really need the money. Would you guide this group of guys? And I was like, dude, I don't like guides. Like, I don't even know why I talked to you, to be quite honest with you. Like, I'm not going to guide. So then a couple crowns later, he talked me into guiding. He's like, it would really help me out. And I said, fine, but you're not paying me. So next thing I know, 2 days later, I'm guiding a group of guys from Tennessee. And it was great. I mean, honestly, I had a blast with the guys and we smashed the birds. I mean, these guys
Do they
were
still come back and
so
hunt with you?
lucky. Yes. They're so lucky they ended up with Adam and myself versus the guide service that referred us. And legitimately, I mean, the very first day, we shot 166 geese. I mean, these kids, they were kids. And, I was relatively younger too. I mean, I was in my 20s, later 20s. Regardless, the next day, we shot 260. The next day, we shot another 115. Like, we blew them up. Okay? So at the end of the actual trip, Adam looks at me, he's like, dude, holy shit, like, my spread was beating his or whatever. And we just kind of joked about it a little bit. But these guys are like, hey, we know you don't like guiding or anything, you're not a guide, but if you guide for us next year, we'll come back. And I was like, it's not happening, boys. Not happening. But thanks and whatever. And they left me a nice tip. So I did take the tip. I didn't take the money from Adam because he needed it. He's got a wife and 5 kids and whatever. So anyway, about 4 days later or somewhere in there, him and I are just having a good time bullshitting. And he's telling me, he's like, that was awesome. Like, both groups were happy. He's like, you did an amazing job with it. And so then my business mind starts flowing in, of course.
I remember you coming back after that trip.
It was dumb, honestly. Regardless. So in the end,
he was talking himself in and out of it,
which I do normal.
Oh, yeah,
that's my normal life. I mean, whatever.
I think that's part of that Wagner gene.
Yeah, of course.
Because you guys both do it.
Well, we're problem solvers, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I could make extra money. I could be helping a buddy out. I mean, I had already had a career. I had already making money and doing stuff that wasn't necessarily that. But obviously, if I'm going to put the effort in, I want to be compensated for it. So I looked at him and I said, he kept badgering me. And these kids were badgering me. They're like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? We want a book. And so literally about 3-4 Crown diets deep, I looked at Ab and I said, I'll do it, but there are conditions. And I said, listen, like, we're going to do it right and we're going to run it like a business and we're going to do it right. So basically, this is now our 6th spring coming up of actual guiding that before that year. So basically, we now have snow addictions and now we have run up to 5 groups a day, running 45 to 55 hunters a day. So snow addictions is very much it's a wild operation. I mean, Mike, you came down last year and you saw, and it was actually relatively quiet compared to normal, but you saw the lodges. I mean, they're top notch.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's a destination for people. And we truly believe that we put the effort in that is worth paying for. So,
I mean, honestly, I've hunted with John. I've hunted with his buddies. And everybody has that vision in your head. Like, I've never been to Arkansas hunting. I've never been to a lodge. I've never been guided waterfowl. So in my head, I had this vision of what I've heard from John. I'd never been to his lodge. Never honestly really ever seen maybe a couple pictures, but really not really. Mm-hmm. You know, so I loaded my dad up. My dad has got cancer, and we know that. And one of the things he wanted to do before he wasn't able to or isn't able to, and hopefully we can go again, is see what John has for an operation down there. But I had it in my head. And we got there, and it just blew me away. Like, I couldn't believe the accommodations and everything that was there. I mean, it was tenfold more than I thought it was going to be. I know my brother well enough to know that he's going to have a legit operation happening, right? It's not going to be
half-assed.
Right, but it was way nicer, way cooler, way better experience than I could have even thought, knowing him as well as I do, right? I mean, just from the lodge to the room to the guys. I mean, I knew some of his buddies. I didn't know all of them. Mm-hmm. But all those guys
from all over the country.
I do. Yep. I've got guides from North Dakota, Minnesota, Arkansas, Nebraska, Colorado. I mean, I pull them from all over the country, and they're guys that I trust with my
They're guys
business,
that you'll hunt
right?
with.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
all those guys seem like really great guys. But I was really just blown away. Like, we came towards the tail end, and all those guys were just super stills, like super passionate. Like, they take it personally if you have a bad day, you know. And I thought that's what stood out the most to me was how hard they worked not to have a bad day. It's hunting; you're gonna have some bad days, but they took it personally. And if I was going guiding, if I was gonna pay for something, realistically, I would set myself up to have realistic expectations, but these guys are not okay with that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that stood out to me, because we weren't the only group in there. Right. We were a couple guys hunting with other guys, with several groups in there. And I thought that was just really, really cool. And kudos to you and you guys and your crew, because that's what stood out to me, you know, because I get to experience a lot of guides when we're going fishing and filming and all that kind of stuff. So I have an idea of, and I've been with guys that are complacent and okay with it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I start having an issue with it.
Right.
Because I'm not okay with it, you know?
Because I've had, I don't go out on guided trips very often, but I have gone out on a few. And, you know, I went out with Tim Hansky one time from Leisure Outdoors in Walker on Leech Lake. And I'd never fished Leech Lake before, and my parents had their boat there, and that's why I wanted to go out with him. The weather was terrible, and the fishing was hard.
But he still went. He still went. And my dad and brother were with, and they're not experienced anglers. And we were having a terrible day of fishing. But he was clearly trying.
Right.
You know, I bet we ran 3/4 of a tank of fuel through his Ranger.
I have been with fishing guides that will clearly say, I don't go here. Fishing's good, but I'm not going to go all the way up there because of the gas, right? These guys will drive hours from the lodge to make sure you're on the the best X that they can find.
And I think that makes a huge difference, because for me, it didn't care I didn't care how many fish I caught that day. You know, I wanted to be out in the boat with my dad and my brother. And, you know, that guide, Tim, is now somebody that I'm at least buddies with. You know, I call him, he ties custom hair jigs for me to this day, because I know that he's passionate. I know that he's good at what he does. The dice just rolled the wrong way that day. But seeing his pain and disappointment in the fact that we didn't have a good day, that speaks volumes.
The people that have been on guided trips, one thing I will say as an actual guide, which neither one of you
No, I will never be.
So I will say this very, very passionately. You book a hunt with us, and it's not about that, but we truly want it more than you do, and you're the one paying for it.
Yeah.
I truly want you to leave and to look at me and say, those guys put it on the line. They tried their hardest. Maybe we didn't kill them, or maybe we beat the absolute shit out of them. And I'll tell you this, I know what it takes and what you have to do to be successful. Nobody can honestly look me in the eyes and say, Jonathan Olson doesn't know how to kill snow geese. I'm sorry. You can come and you can kill 40 geese in 3 days. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not because I didn't put the effort in or my guide service didn't. And if somebody actually said that, I've got 600 pictures to show you that I know how to do it.
Right.
So that is one thing that, you know, I really love about my group of guys, because they are all very, very passionate. Also, they're all very qualified to be there.
They're all some of the best. It's very clear when you listen to them talk, you listen to how they strategize, you know, like even down to the simple things as scouting. Like, hey, I'm going to take this area. Why would two people cover the same? You know, it's rookie things that people don't even think about to be better at what they're doing, right? But I think it all comes back to there's, you know, it's crazy because I sit here and I'm listening to you speak, and I know the way I am about things, and I know the way that we are. It all goes back to one person in our lives, and that's our grandfather. Because if there was 3 roosters that got up, he expected 3 to be dead. If it was fishing, he expected you to catch fish. He expected you to do the best that you could do every single time. And if it wasn't the best that you could do, then it wasn't good enough. We take that to our business. We take that to our passions. We take that to everything that we do in life. If it isn't the best that you can do it, it's not good enough.
Well, and a prime example of quickly to go with the grandpa thing and never good enough is I was 15 years old, and I'd have 3 roosters get up, and I would knock 2 of 3 and miss one. And he would legitimately look and be like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, what happened?
What?
Multiple occasions.
What are you shooting at?
And love you, Grandpa. But that pushed us that little, you know, then in my head, I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Now I'm like, I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, to make the story long and short, you know, snow addictions is something I became a guide for because I was passionate about it, because I knew that I can produce a product that people should pay money for. Actually, not would, should. And I know that with every client that walks through the door. And
you don't want anybody leaving thinking you didn't do everything you could to make it happen. And if it happened, great. They feel that much better. If it didn't, they're like, all right, I'm going to come back and give this one another try.
well, and to be honest with you, like a group of guys comes in, right? They fly in, they fly their private jet in, or they fly, I mean, who knows? They fly commercially, they drive 18 hours, they drive 28 hours. They come into the lodge, they shake my hand, I show them where their room is, they're super excited, and they're just, I mean, they're on cloud nine. Okay, I'm hunting, let's just say this is day 30. Mm-hmm. I'm still excited and happy.
Right.
Because you know what? They paid good money to do it. And so they come in, we sign lien waivers, we talk about the hunt, I introduce them to their guide if I'm not their guide, because we're running 4 groups to 5 groups a day, right? We get up in the morning, we bring them to the field, they're all excited, we're all setting decoys. Some days they kill 5, some days we've had it where they've killed 586 in Arkansas. That's our best snow goose day in Arkansas. Nobody, hardly anybody in the hunting world or fishing world, whatever, even understands what 586 of the game that you're chasing is.
You pretty much need 2 guns.
Oh, well, I shot 18 boxes of shells that day. Can you even fathom that, ladies and gentlemen?
You guys run 2 guns a lot, don't you? When you're spring snow goose hunting?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's legal. So we
2
definitely
guns
make it
with
happen.
extensions and...
Yep. So anyway,
that's my favorite part about snow goose hunting is just the barbaric, like, hey, I'm going to shoot an entire box of shells on this flock of birds.
And yeah, well, so I have it's called an X-rail, and you actually can shoot 23 shells on that. So
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
When I got to go last year, I got to bring Jake.
Yep.
And he's upset with me right now because we had a trip kind of planned and it's probably not going to happen, but he had absolute blast. And there's a video of just him just excited. This group comes in. I don't know how many we shot, but it was a good volley. And he gets up and boom, 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 and he's laying down and he gets up and he's got a little buddy next to him that's hunting with him. And they're just excited. I mean, it's an experience. And I wouldn't consider myself like a super experienced waterfowl hunter, but I get it. I've done enough of it that I kind of get what's going on. But it's just the excitement. I mean, the guys that were yelling the most were the 2 guides in this spread.
Pretty much is that if you don't like that, get the hell out of my spread.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the birds were coming in the video, you can hear John that says, "If you don't empty your guns, I hate you." Like he's yelling that as the birds are setting in the decoys. Like also, if you don't empty your damn guns, I hate you.
Well, it runs deep. It seriously does. Like every flock, it's your moment to shine.
Yeah.
I mean, the most we've ever knocked out of one flock is 108, and I think that is one hell of a feat.
In one volley.
One volley, 12 guys emptying their guns, 12 to 14 shells.
I think right here is like a good time. I'm going to make you edit a little bit. You need to get one of those video clips from John and just the volley falling out right here.
I don't think I've shot 108 birds in a day.
Well, you know what?
Let alone a volley.
Most people don't. But
Yeah, look, what do you mean really? I don't think that's an uncommon thing for somebody to say, I haven't shot 108 birds.
Yeah, but you waterfall hunted enough where I thought maybe you'd had that experience.
Yeah, but I mean, even I've never snow goose hunted. So with standard waterfowl limits, 108 birds, you need a lot of dudes.
You need a lot of dudes.
Can I go back and give John's dark secret away though? His passion for snow goose hunting started by crawling and jump shooting them.
Absolutely. I used to be a jump shooter.
My grandpa, that's how he taught us. Like, get out and roll. Sneak down this ditch.
And I'd puke every time.
Yeah, John, he would roll. He would never give up, but he'd have to stop and puke.
See, I was a slam it and park and jump out of the truck kind of guy. I'd roll right up on the swamp and then jump out.
But in all honesty, we have to give our grandfather credit because a lot of people's grandpas are super like nice, and I'm not saying he wasn't nice.
Oh,
but
he was nice.
He pushed us to take it to the next level, and we didn't fully understand what that meant. But later in life, It certainly taught us a lot. And to be honest with you, Thor, you know this working for us. We don't really take mediocre for an answer.
No.
And we're not like that. We don't want to. We push ourselves to be as good as we can, to do epic shit.
You don't half-ass any of it. Even the fun.
What's the point? What's the point?
Even like even relaxing is not a half-assed effort.
No.
Like if you're gonna relax, like all right, hey guys, we're gonna be done at work today at noon. Bring some beer, bring some firewood, bring some shotguns, bring some
maybe some fireworks. Who knows?
Fireworks.
I mean,
we're not.
The long and the short of all this is the long and the short of all this is our grandfather had the deepest passion for the outdoors of anybody I've ever met. All around, he trapped, he hunted, he fished, and he was in it. He had a hatchery where he stocked walleyes. He had trout. He had ponds where raised
turkeys.
Yeah, John and I were like, there's so many things. Like, as a kid, I was involved in stocking lakes in Minnesota. We were involved in hatching walleyes. We were involved in the minnow trapping, the beaver trapping, coon hunting, deer hunting, pheasant hunting, goose hunting, fishing of all aspects in the rivers, in the lakes, bluegills, walleyes, pike, camping on islands in the middle of Canada. There's things that we did before the age of 16 that people will never experience in their entire life. Without him, we aren't sitting where we are right now.
Absolutely.
Not even close. I love my father and he loves the outdoors, but he wasn't raised that way, right? My grandfather took us under his wing, and sometimes, he was gruff about it, but the thing is he wanted it done right. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. And he would make that very clear.
Life lesson number 2. So how many more are we going to do here? There might be 3, 4, and 5 that we.
There are a few men in the world that will ever have an impact on you, like he did on pretty much everybody he came in contact with. Mm-hmm. There's guys. He used to have a deer hunting group of like 16 to 18 guys, and they would come from Colorado all over up to his place, and those guys will never forget a moment of being in what we called the skinning shack. That thing was the grungiest and dirtiest place you ever met in your life. Every kind of animal was skunned in there. Pheasants were raised in there. Beavers, raccoons,
we tried
turtles.
beaver tail, Mike.
Yeah, we ate beaver tail as kids. I mean, we ate raccoons.
It's supposed to be good.
It's not.
It's not good.
Oh,
I'll just answer that right now.
We ate raccoons. We ate turtles. We skunned beavers, throw them on the floor. And we don't know any different.
Right.
We were raised that way. Our parent, he would drive into town when we were old enough to go trap beavers. We would trap beavers, and because you would get $1 or $2 less for a beaver with a bullet hole in it, he got us Louisville sluggers. We beat the shit out of the beavers on top of the head till the nose bled, right?
Uh-oh.
And that's whatever. It's an old trapper's trick. If you trap, you know why.
It's still, people are still running cornfields for raccoons with baseball bats.
I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, he made a living for a lot of his life trapping. Mm-hmm. And then he had a sawmill, which now my uncle has. And my Uncle Bob is probably the closest thing to our grandfather we have. He's got all these outdoor passions.
He wouldn't drive my boat, though.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't drive your boat
These
either.
warrior boys are super spoiled.
I know.
We are kind of snobby.
A little bit.
We love our boats.
He hopped in. We were pre-fishing for a tournament on his lake, and he hopped in the boat with us to kind of show us some hidey holes. I was like, hey, you want to drive so we can just get there and you don't have to explain?
No, I'm good.
He said, no, I don't want to drive your boat. I was like, why? Because it goes too fast?
No, he hasn't held onto a steering wheel for many years.
He said, no, it's not a tiller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay.
So
okay.
We're warrior guys to begin with, and he takes it one step farther with the tiller handle.
It was the first time I'd met him. He hopped in the boat, and I was like, you want to drive my boat? You don't even know who I am. Yeah, you're related to the Olsons. You want to drive my boat?
I'm sure you're fine. Heard lots of great recommendations.
You probably know more about this than I do.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So
you guys obviously have a lot of respect for your grandpa.
Oh, there's no question there.
Yeah, no question. There's zero question on that.
So now, neither of you could cop out on this. John and Mike, what do you respect the most about the other one. And if you guys pick the same thing, I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to lose respect.
Well, bullshit. Well, what if we do it? No, whatever. What do I respect about my brother?
The most.
It's no bullshit. You get what you get, right? And it's, to me, that's very respectable because we don't sugarcoat anything. I know how it is. And I also, and what goes with that is the fact that we've been in business a long time and we're brothers. And we've had our knockdown blowouts like any business owner is going to have, but take it one step further, we're brothers. That's probably the thing I get the most is like, how have you guys had a business for 14, 15 years together and you're still doing it? Well, the thing is we respect each other. So we may not agree with each other, but we respect each other. And that's what I got to say.
Earned respect.
Sure.
I mean, I'll tell you this, like, I don't take a lot of shit from many people, and I don't really take shit from almost anyone, but Mike is clearly bigger than me and could kick my ass every day and twice on Sunday, but I have a big bite, and he knows it may not be the fact that he can beat me up, but he better kill me or I'm going to get the last laugh, and he knows that's my mentality, and that's been stated many times. I mean, there's not very many people that Mike will let talk to him like I have when I'm angry, and vice versa. And and to be in business together, which is part of the reason we decided to separate, fish addictions, hunt addictions. There just needs to be a separation. We need to go and enjoy each other's stuff without it being work. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, Mike and I, we've had our battles. We're brothers and we're business people, but through age and experience, we've learned that Mike's got his job and he's doing it well. And I've got my job and I'm doing it well. And we've succeeded because of that. I truly believe that our employees really do care and love us. And I think that they look at us as mentors, and we learn from them. They learn from us, and we learn from each other. And truthfully, what I love about Mike the most, especially in the later years, is he's really learned to follow his passion, and as have I. And we respect all that. And it's not only about work. It's not. It's about enjoying life and enjoying the road. And people really, really look at the dollar sign and they follow that. And that's not what we're about. We're not. Honestly, anybody that's worked for us or is a friend to us, we would give the shirt off our back and then some, which is why we're so upset sometimes when people take it somewhere else and basically like, oh, well, John, he thinks he's this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's not what we think at all. We're taking people along for the ride. We're trying to help people succeed, and we've made each other succeed. We push each other. There's been times like, this, I'm selling my portion of the business, you're buying it out, I don't give a shit what you say. And he's like, no, John, like, I'm really proud of what we built. And then it goes both ways.
Yeah, it's a natural progression.
It's absolutely a natural progression.
What I like is we give each other the mutual respect that we deserve, right? And there's moments that maybe I step out of line and he's quick to put me back, and then vice versa. Like, we don't expect too much out of each other. We expect what we know needs to be done. And that's in and out. That's life in general.
It's an unwritten thing, Mike.
Sure.
We're taking care of each other without getting in each other's business. And that's really, I would say, the last probably 8 years of business. It's really been, you do your thing, I got you. Or you got me, I'll do my thing, I got you. And that's, I can't express how much that is important when you're fishing and you're trying to find the fish, or if you're trying to get on that next big giant shoot. If people would actually learn that dynamic, would actually learn what true friendship or what, being family is, people would actually be a hell of a lot more successful in life, instead of act like they're doing everything or they deserve everything. I don't think that. I earn everything. Excuse me for my language, but it's the truth.
It doesn't bug me.
No, I know.
So, one thing that I've always wanted to see happen here is have you guys take 6 days, 8 days, 10 days, 14 days, whatever it is, split it up, cut it in half, and you get the first half where you're gonna go snow goose hunting, duck hunting, whatever. Film the whole thing, right? Whole step. You know, you walk Mike through what your process is on setting up a hunt. And then you take the second half of the trip and you do it in the boat. And, you know, you do the cast and blast or whatever. I think that would make a great series at some point, whether you do it, you know, whether it's 10, 20-minute episodes.
Right.
Or whatever. I think that would be great. I think people would love it. I know especially me, and because a lot of the people up here that like to hunt, they also like to ice fish.
Well, I would say the big majority of sportsmen.
Right.
I never like to call myself a fisherman.
Right.
I like to call myself a sportsman or an outdoorsman because I truly enjoy shooting things in the face.
It's fun.
I enjoy catching fish. I mean,
I enjoy harvesting the animal and respecting it.
me too, but I want it humanely killed. I want it humanely killed, so I just want it done.
All right. Well.
I always take that back from Chris Hurdle. We all know Chris Hurdle here, and one day he works for us, and he put in a time off sheet, and I'm like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, well, look at it, and it said, I need 3 days off to shoot things in the face.
But it's funny, especially when Chris Hurdle says stuff like that, because he is one of the pickiest hunters that I know. If it's not the animal that he wants
in the location that he wants it, like he has turned down shots on giant deer because he's like, oh, that would have been a long drag.
Yeah.
Yep. But he feels like he won at that point already.
Yeah.
So that's totally
right.
Definitely the way it should be.
I mean, you get it, but I think I think people would really enjoy seeing the dynamic unfold of seeing you guys in each other's elements, especially knowing that you guys grew up doing those things together.
Yeah.
To see you come together as adults and put together an epic goose hunt, followed up by, obviously migrations matter. So maybe you're fishing for catfish or pike or whatever, wherever in the country you are, whatever the cool thing is to fish for there.
Well, we've talked about that sort of thing in the past, to be quite honest with you. We definitely realize people notice and appreciate
We've had
our
a lot of
passion.
people. A lot of my friends say it. A lot of his friends say it. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah. Do you know John Olson? Yeah, that's my brother. What?
Yeah.
And then the same thing. I'm like, what?
Right.
Like two guys that have made a name for themselves in their respective industries. And not only that, but we're never satisfied with what we're doing. We get that all the time. It would be a lot of fun, but it's a lot of coordinating. It's a lot of things going on. And honestly, like, I love filming Fish Addictions TV, but I also love when the camera's not there.
Right.
And that doesn't happen as often as I'd probably like it to happen. Partially my fault.
Well,
but that's no different than me with the guide service. I truly believe, Mike, that you do it not just for you. You're doing it for other people. You're doing it for memories. I mean, even to this day, to be quite honest with you guys, I like to guide, but I don't love it. If it didn't bring
do you like
happiness
do you
to my
like
friends,
the aspect of when you're guiding, you're actually teaching?
I like that I'm showing people things that they could never do on their own.
That's kind of why I enjoy the Fish Addictions TV thing. We had what I would say the ultimate mentor in my grandpa. So like, it's part of us to want, and one thing my grandpa always talked about, always right to the end, was writing a book about all of his experiences and sharing all of those experiences. That was one thing he wished he would have done. Sit down with a camera on him and just talk and tell stories and all that kind of stuff. So I find myself thinking that very often, like, how do I share these crazy experiences that we've gotten? I feel Fish Addictions has captured more of those crazy things than any other person out there, and that's what's made us successful, right? And it's not all about one person, one thing. It's about the overall experience, and that's what John creates with Snow Addictions, is that experience and that educational part of it.
That phone video, that's just tons of birds dying.
Well,
Can you find a way to keep the camera up when those birds are coming in?
Well, I do have it.
Do you know?
Would you like to see one right now?
Well, because I feel like every time I see one of your snow goose videos, it's
no, there's a lot of them. So I do have a tripod.
Yeah, but you got the camera up, and I'm watching them come in.
the anticipation.
You throw the phone on the ground. You scream, take them. You cuck the shit out of me.
You know why?
And then there's no ending.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because I'm a killer, Thor.
I know, but like,
Because he wants to shoot shit in the
I
face.
also want to shoot
don't
and
bait
be
me with
respectful
it.
to the animal.
Don't bait me with it. Like you bring me in. Like I have almost no interest in killing snow geese, but I watch every video you post, hoping that one day I'm actually need to see the birds fall.
My favorite comment that people usually say when it is, someone's like, "Oh, it was almost a good video until you dropped the phone," and then people always come and be like, "Book a hunt, then you can see it in real life."
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, for
I
sure.
get it. I put your money where your mouth is. I get it. But
It's, yeah. We've lived a really cool and spectacular life. I mean, the things that we've gotten to experience, the things that we do, the things that we've made happen, because this fish addictions doesn't just happen.
no,
Snow addictions, hunt addictions doesn't just happen.
no.
I mean, none of that just happens. And we're striving every day to be better at what we feel we're already good at, you know? And that's not a bragging point. We've worked very hard to be good at what we are. Yeah, I mean,
But people pay attention. Like I said, Mike, we're the type of people that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it big. We're going to do it right. We're going to work hard at it. Are we the best at it? Not necessarily. Do we try to be the best at it? Absolutely. Every frickin' time. That's really the difference.
It kind of bugs me how humble you guys are.
Well, not always, but sometimes.
People ask me, like, because I was on my way out here, like I said, and I was talking to my mom. She's like, "Oh, who's on the podcast?" And I said, "Oh, Mike's brother John." And for whatever reason, she, like, I think it was the first time I've ever actually said your name versus just Mike's brother. She's like, "Who's John?" And I was like, "Oh, he's probably the most prolific snow goose hunter on the North American continent." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Probably." Would he say that? No. But I will. I'll make that claim for you.
yeah, well, I mean,
You know?
why be that way, right?
Well,
I mean,
I know.
we're
Doesn't do any
we're
good.
striving to be better.
No.
We're striving for that. So if I honestly feel like if I ever had that mentality, I'm done. I've just shot myself in the foot.
Yeah,
I
what's
know.
our new passion? Deer hunting?
I like deer hunting a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I really like deer hunting.
We do send a lot of pictures together for deer hunting at this point, but don't actually hunt together deer hunting.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to hunt together when you're both chasing big bucks. Like, that's our passion right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I can't wait
correct.
till the new one's up here.
Yeah, that one's gotta grow a little.
Oh, quit it now.
It's got good mass though, like good work. Maybe the camera can.
Let's do
It is outside the ears though, so that's good.
You know what? You.
I'm so glad John's never seen my buck. Because holy shit.
Well, it is what it is.
I got basket 6.
Well, honestly, the genetics where we grew up hunting is incredible. It's just there's some non-selective hunting at times, which
Not
is
anymore.
kind of a tough deal. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good that you're doing that for sure.
Yeah, I actually got to purchase the chance to purchase my grandfather's land that we hunted on for years. So that's, I find myself sitting in the stand thinking, man, those guys shot every deer in this woods every single year. They had
helped 'em.
a blast. Well, there was intensive harvest days back then.
Right, you
That
get
was the other
5
thing that maybe
permits.
the mentality that John and I haven't taken away from our grandfather is like, it's limit or none, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I shouldn't say that, but he was that whole generation that went through the Depression and all that kind of stuff was, if you're going to shoot it, you're damn well going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was going crappie fishing, if he didn't have a limit of crappies, it wasn't the best day.
Right.
Where we can go crappie fishing and catch one giant, and I'm happy. You know, because there's a different aspect. We're going more for size than quantity, more quality than quantity.
I had a dream about lake trout last night.
Oh boy,
I haven't had a dream about catching one fish in a very long time. Usually it's going out and like having like a really good day fishing. But in that dream I set the hook one time and I never saw it. I woke up happy.
oh,
And I've never caught a lake trout.
they're fun.
I've heard. And obviously I want to go. I spent most of my day today calling people to see if they wanted to go lake trout fishing.
You need to call Brian Klein.
Yeah, John's good buddy Brian. He's
That's-
a lake trout guy.
Is he?
So that is,
What the hell?
well,
Yeah, but Brian,
If you wanna
Brian
catch
is
a
right
muskie.
now getting ready to go to Arkansas, guaranteed.
yeah, but he just caught
I
trout
saw he
today,
was-
whatever the hell it was. Rainbow trout.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
he
wasn't he out in like New Mexico or something like that?
did.
Just
That man has no limits
You think I won't
to
travel
where
for
he will
trout?
go.
there is a guy that would be fun to have on this show because he does mushrooms, snow geese.
Sorry.
He does
He hunts
mushrooms.
He hunts mushrooms of all sorts. He musky fishes. He trout fishes. He dabbles in the walleye a little bit.
He doesn't like walleye.
No,
like walleye.
he doesn't.
Catches
He'll
them on
catch.
accident
He'll
while
catch
he's
them on
musky
accident, right? I mean, the guy does a little bit of everything: turkey, deer, snow geese, all waterfowl, lake trout. I mean, he's all over the place. You can't keep tabs on that guy.
We call this man the all-American outdoorsman. Legit.
I've been told that his basement looks like a Bass Pro Shops.
He has $300,000+ worth of muskie baits in his basement. His house is maybe 2,000 square feet, and probably 900 square feet of it is muskie baits. I've seen it. It's a spectacle. It is quite odd. It's wild. But yeah, you know what? He would be a very good person to have on a podcast. But I've experienced a lot of stuff in life because of him. I mean, I'm actually going to be going to Alaska and hunting king eiders with him because of him. And
When is
I'm
that?
gonna 2022.
What is a king
So it's pre-planned.
king eider? Yeah, what
yeah,
is that?
king eider. It's a sea duck. It's a
Okay.
very rare sea duck. It's a
Okay.
very tough bird to hunt because there's not very many. But I've been to Maine. I've been to Maryland. We hunt together in Arkansas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Missouri. I mean, I've been mushroom hunting with him. I caught almost a 51-inch muskie with him. It's a giant.
That was ludicrous.
Yeah, I mean, my first muskie. Like, who is this guy?
The best part about that is you never have to musky fish again.
And you know what? I did again.
You should
though.
try to
I did again.
You should try to break the speed limit and go over 55, but like
Well, I don't feel like that's just so easy.
no,
But-
it's not. That's why it's something that people spend their lives trying to chase.
right. But the crazy part is Adam the next day caught a 50 and a half.
Right.
So we caught two 50-inch muskie in 2 days. That's unheard of. Not very, very likely from what I understand. Regardless, yeah, now we got off topic and we're talking about Brian Klein because he is legitimately a spectacle. He shot a 183-inch whitetail this year. Doesn't give two f***s about whitetails.
I hate you.
Yeah, it is what it
No,
is.
I love you, but I hate you.
Yeah, it is.
He's the all American outdoorsman and the most likable person you'll ever meet in your life.
Yep.
Brian, please be on the show at some point.
Oh, I'm sure I could talk him into it.
Maybe we should just go to Arkansas and have him on the show. No, he'll be sleep deprived and thinking about one thing.
I don't know.
I'm
He's
kidding.
pretty. He'll always rise to the occasion.
Oh yeah,
And
doubt.
and
this
probably
is a
wearing
very easy show to
wearing
travel to.
Crocs at the same point.
I almost wore Crocs tonight, but I have like a blister on my toe from wearing them the other day.
Yeah, see, they're so uncomfortable.
No.
Yes, they are. You have a blister on your toe from wearing Crocs, Thor. Shut up.
It's because I didn't put socks on. And
Oh, now you have to wear socks with your Crocs.
well, yeah, it's wintertime.
You don't have like that
No, I do.
cushion, and you still got a blister.
Yeah,
Throw them away.
on top of my pink. They do need to be thrown away. They're
Good.
like 10 years old.
Do it and
I
do
need
a
a new
video
pair.
of it for Instagram so everybody can see somebody throwing a pair of horseshit Crocs away.
Yeah, and watching me add another one to the stack.
Oh God.
But no, we could take this podcast on the road very easily. It's these three mics, that mixer, and that computer tower, and we have a fish house right there that we can do it in.
Well, I can promise you that he's actually going to be coming to North Dakota to hunt snow geese at some point, and maybe that's where you guys need to make it happen.
We'll chase him down.
We'll talk to him. He'd be an interesting guest for sure.
Yeah.
Just an interesting guy.
He's more interesting than you and I can promise you that. He's made me more interesting, which I actually really appreciate. So yeah, whatever. We could talk hours about him, so we should probably move on to the next subject. So podcast about Brian J. Klein. Here we are.
So one thing that we need to make sure that we cover, how do I book a hunt?
So if you want to book a hunt with us in Arkansas, Snow Addictions Guide Service, you need to contact us early.
Right. I'm assuming it's too late for this year.
Yeah, we are actually completely booked. I did offer a spot for Michael and his son, my brother, to come down, and I can easily get other people to hunt. That's not a problem. But so I did offer something up because I don't really like to let my nephew down, whatever. But
understandable.
Regardless, you can book a hunt. Truthfully, I don't do TV shows. I don't do any of that kind of stuff, but I do have a social media presence that is relatively strong. I mean, it's very, I think it's very good content. I think people really enjoy it. I think
I'm just
it's
putting
real.
it out there. If I come this year, I'm bringing the camera guy. I mean, he's on the payroll. Might as well drag him down there.
I'm also on the payroll.
Oh boy. So anyway, to book a hunt, like you would send me a message, call me, text me.
On Instagram or Facebook.
Yep. But I put my number up there, and people can call. You can, if you go to snowaddictions.com, you actually can get my phone number. You can email us, do whatever. I mean, people definitely check that out. So regardless of the situation, if you want to book a hunt, you got to do it in advance. In fact, I've got 6 groups for 2022 already, which doesn't include the returning clients. So, and I think that happens by happy clients, right? So I'm not worried about booking hunts. I'm not worried about filling spots. In fact, Mike held spots for a while until a couple weeks ago, and his spot was filled within 3 days, and I didn't advertise nothing. It was just natural calls coming in. And then, but regardless, if you want to book a hunt, you just go to our social media, call my number, whatever. It's not hard to find out who Snow Addictions Guide Service is at this point. We're out there, and that's, I think it's a great time. I think it's worth people's time. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Cause we'll make sure we link all your stuff in the description below here.
Yep.
Just in case somebody's got their 5-year plan and they can get in and book.
Yeah. We have people though. I have people that book 2 years in advance because they said, hey, I legitimately need to save for this, but I'm coming. I'm coming hunting with you. That's what's happening. So I think that's a very good compliment. So
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I think we've got pretty much everything covered here, but we have one thing. You have to do your signature take-em call for us.
Oh, God. You didn't tell me this was going to happen.
We don't have to tell you everything.
Right. Would you want me to write it down here and ruin it?
So a few people would appreciate this. Got birds coming in, and I'll say, this turn, guys. This turn. And after this flock comes in, load up and get down.
Okay.
Take 'em! Bang, 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 bang. Well, you got to give time for the birds to get in.
You got it. I've been in the blind in there with John, and like, Jesus Christ, he's gonna let him go around one more freaking time. But that's what's, and I've heard it from you many times. That's the difference between an awesome hunt and a good hunt. That's the difference maker.
My favorite.
That's the difference between the hunt you're gonna remember for a lifetime and the hunt that you had a good day.
Well, that's the only way you can make a phone video look good is if you really let them get close.
I have a lot of buddies that like to pretend that they're John Olson when they're calling the shot, and they try to do it, and every time I'm like, you can't do it. Come up with your own word.
It is, and I get told all the time, they're like, dude, we know when it's you. That shot call is something different.
It does. It's different.
My clients will come in and they thrive off that. They're like, I have waited a long time to hear that in real life. And I just think it's funny. I don't realize I'm doing it.
I have honestly been in a room of people. I have no clue who they are. And I hear that, and I'm like, they're watching my brother's fucking Instagram video.
Yeah, it could be.
Like, because you just know it's like, take off. It's like,
when I realized people liked it, so I was actually at Squaw Creek, which is now Los Bluffs. You know Squaw Creek, Mike. We've been there before together. But I was out looking and just watching the birds, and it's a spectacle. I mean, there can be sometimes 1.5 million birds there. And I was out and I was just, super cool. It's actually northwest Missouri.
Okay.
So, and I was just out looking, and this guy taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Are you the Take-'em guy?" And I'm like, "I'm Jonathan Olson. Yes, nice to meet you. How are you doing?" He was just enamored. He's like, "Holy shit!" And I mean, it was wild. I was actually on my way home, and the refuge was absolutely loaded. And I was like, I mean, it's 2 miles off the interstate. So I stop and I look, and I mean, I love to watch the birds.
Because these birds know they're safe there.
Oh yeah,
there's like a lookout thing, like a little dock, and you can stand on them. They're 15 feet from you, and there's 1 million freaking birds in there. It's just like, and they get up and do their turns, and it's like, holy shit! Like, it's unbelievable.
It is, and that is actually a destination. If you have any interest in the migration at all, like that is one of the most incredible spots that you can possibly go, even if you don't care.
Last year, going down to Arkansas, I was trying my damnedest to get to Squaw Creek before the night feeding, and we pulled in, and they were just getting up. We were pulling off the interstate, and I just stopped and I let Jake watch, and it was just, oh my, there was 300,000-400,000 of them there. I mean, we've been there where there's been over 1 million, and
it's pretty wild.
It's a spectacle every time. I mean, that's crazy. So if you're ever in that area, late February, early March, usually that thing is loaded.
Yeah, I would say if you go anywhere between February 25th and March 10th, you're going to hit it pretty.
And there is a website that they keep bird numbers there, so you could.
Oh, so you can
actually look.
They do bird number counts. It pretty good.
Yeah, update it fairly often, a couple times a week.
So speaking of updating, should we tease the big giveaway before we end this here tonight?
The big giveaway.
You can.
Well, now you got it. You said it. I don't even know about the big giveaway. Yeah, let me hear it.
Well, we were talking about giving away. We gave away already a Garmin Panoptix Live Scope, which is by far the best electronics in the industry. We're lucky enough to run it.
And Mike wants to give away another one.
We're giving away that plus more. I think the whole prize package in my head is going to end up being like somewhere around $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
That's a pretty big package to win as an ice fisherman. It's going to include electronics,
augers,
houses,
apparel,
more apparel. It's going to include everything you need to go fishing with. If you have nothing, you will have everything.
Yep.
If you have everything, you will have the best of everything. Done.
And all you have to do to win is
pretty sweet.
Be a subscriber.
You got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you already are subscribed, we will do kind of the same thing. We have awesome sponsors. I mean, you got to thank Garmin and Eskimo and Northland and Norsk batteries, all those guys. Like, it's fun to be a part of companies that want to be a part of you, right? Mm-hmm. And you come up with these crazy ideas, like let's give away an ice fishing package that outdoes every other ice fishing package. Done.
They're going to have better stuff than a lot of the staff.
They're going to have everything we have at least.
Right.
So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming in the next week or so. But yeah, now that you ruined the surprise.
It's not a ruining of the surprise. You still have to come up with a good video.
Well, we'll get that part of it done.
So you have until Monday, which is when I'm going to release this.
Monday,
6 a.m.
Well, what are you procrastinating?
That's the 25th, January 25th.
Are we going to film another one between now and then? People want this at 6 a.m. on Monday.
Oh, whatever. We'll get her figured out. I think we're done.
You have anything else you want to tell your brother?
I think we've laid it all out on the table.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Well, you're leaving here. By the time this airs, you'll actually be in Arkansas.
I will be in Arkansas. Yep, I am leaving in 2 days. I'm going to be leaving very early Friday,
How
the
can people
22nd.
How can people follow along with your adventures? Because that's going to be a big question. Is where can we see what we've just talked about?
Well, the only thing you can really do is because I don't have a TV show and do all that stuff. Is you honestly can follow along on Facebook. You can follow along on Instagram at Snow Addictions Guide Service. You can find it either one, and that's where we do it. And you can message me. You can ask me questions, whatever. I'm relatively private until the season is over. People are watching, people are looking. So, but regardless, it's there. There's updates, and there's really cool content on those social media platforms already to actually.
Yeah, you want to see the legendary Take 'em call? That's where to go check it out. It's there.
Well,
some pretty cool flocks, and you guys can find us on our Instagram, Fish Addictions TV, Facebook, YouTube. Apparently, we have a Twitter account up and rolling. 2 of them? 2 Twitter accounts?
The podcast has its own Twitter account.
Okay.
Is Twitter even legit since they've been censoring everybody? I didn't think that anybody even talks about. No, I'm not getting political. I just asked.
It depends on who you ask. Right now, you can really take shots.
Okay.
On Twitter, because what are they going to do? Ban you?
Oh God.
I do have some interesting talking points about Twitter, but that's for another point.
Yeah.
That's for another day.
But remember, guys, we have Fish Addictions TV, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we're updating that constantly, 3-4 times a week. I think what's cool is if you message us, you're going to get a direct response from myself. So I think that's kind of cool. I think a lot of people don't really understand that. There's been a lot of times we're like, is this Mike actually responding? Yeah. And we're going to sign out here, but this is Fish Addictions, The Real Talk. And thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. It was good.
It was a good surprise. Like, I didn't even know you were coming until 2 days ago. He's like, hey, John said he's coming. I'm like, sweet. Cool.
Better clear the schedule because it's hard to narrow us down.
Yeah,
Lock us
for
both down,
sure.
that's for sure.